We had some technical difficulties, but it's all working out now. And it's super fun. Starting already with Sam in the chat and with Rania. How you guys doing?
Very good. Thanks.
Nice, nice. Yeah,
Great.
super excited for this chat. I mean, it's a little bit awkward because we spend a lot of time together. But Sam, can you tell us a little bit about what you're actually doing?
Yeah, so I have a channel called Samera Abroad, and it is about me just sharing my life living abroad. My experiences in Vienna, it's a bit vloggy sometimes. It's a bit more structured videos where I really write scripts and do voiceover. It's a bit of mix of whatever I feel inspired to make at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also my kind of step into going in front of the camera because I also come from a filming background where I'm usually behind the camera. So it's always an interesting perspective when you take yourself to the other side of it.
Nice. Hang on, I'm just like writing in the chat to make sure that audio is all good.
Oh, yeah, I want to be able to see the chat too. I'm going to open it up
Yeah, you just
as
open
well.
up the YouTube. And if anybody wants to join the chat, like actually jump into the conversation, there's a link in the description. We'll have at least two more of these events coming up in the next 2 weeks. And then on September 9th, we're going to have a big creator event that you can sign up for the newsletter and you get all the details for that. Cool. Audio is all good. Nice. I like to hear this. So yeah, how was the transition from like behind the camera to in front of the camera?
Well, in some ways, it's kind of a good thing that you have a lot of experience seeing other people being really natural in front of cameras. People who are very comfortable doing it, or people who are able to improvise, or just, yeah, having this atmosphere that it's okay if you mess up, it's okay to do it again. And you understand a bit of the process of like, okay, this is something I can edit later on. So I think coming from this side is nice, but then actually doing it the first time is like you're guaranteed some awkwardness. Like, let's be real, it's awkward, and it's super awkward, especially if you're doing something more personal. And it's even more awkward if you want to go outdoors with your filming, which even for myself is something I am still trying to tackle and understand how to do it because I like travel content, but I
Mm,
don't like necessarily putting myself out there in front of a camera in public alone. So I do think I have a few tricks to like make this a bit easier, but when I made my first video, the goal was definitely just do it 30 seconds, get myself in front of the camera, just kind of like rip off the band-aid and say like, here we go.
yeah, I think that's the way to go. Actually, it's really nice that you're already here, Rania, because I feel like you have a somewhat similar experience, or like you do a lot of like stuff in front of the camera. So I
Yeah,
don't know. What's your perspective on all of this?
it's definitely different than you guys because you have experience with being behind the camera, and I understand like the switch can be difficult sometimes. But I've always like I like just press play and then just press record and then just start talking. So it's really fun and like especially for vlogging, it was a bit more different for vlogging because the script is different than setting like a text that you read from or you know what you're going to say. Vlogging is different in the way that you don't know what's gonna happen, no matter how many scripts you set out or lay out of the video and the events you want to happen. They don't always happen, and you don't know. You have to find something like at that moment to be creative and find something to say and not freak out in front of the camera because even if you edit it later you have to have something to edit and it's not always something that's already scripted, but I think it's fun because it's a different experience. It makes you be creative at that instant and it makes you function, your brain functions more when you're under that kind of pressure at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. You almost have to have a bit of, especially if you're out doing some vlogging content, you always have to have a little bit of extra confidence with yourself.
Yeah.
Even if things go wrong, you grab those genuine moments of things going wrong, even it can make for good content as long as you
Yes.
are genuine about it and don't stop recording, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for both of you, oh, there we go. We got more people coming. I like it.
Voting.
Yay.
Yeah.
But like how do you guys deal with this like moment? Let me start the question over now that you're here. Hey there. Um,
I voted.
and this question
Hey,
goes out to all of you. Like how, because when I film at home, right? I very rarely go outside and film like with people around me. But unlike you, so like I don't know, how do you feel about this? How do you like, do you just ignore everybody around you, or do you like find like this quietest spot, or I don't know, what's your strategy with that?
Mm. I definitely always have a game plan going in because I know myself and I know how nervous I will get. So I really strategize what environments I will be most comfortable in to get the shots that I want. Because I really plan out like my shots that I want, the coverage that I want to get, and the dialogue I want to say overall. Of course, there's spontaneous moments, but I'm pretty planned ahead for things. So if I need to go out in public and film, I will choose quiet hours, odd hours that no one else is really around, as best as I can. And make sure that, yeah, you do have to ignore other people around you. This is something that you have to get over a little bit. But I definitely always try to create environments that I'm going to be the most comfortable filming in.
Yeah.
I also think it comes with practice as well. Because the first time I started vlogging outside, people were looking at me weirdly, and I just sometimes just like give up and go film somewhere quieter or just redo that scene somewhere else. Hey, so I just,
hey,
but every time I did a new video, every time I try to talk in front of my camera or people are looking at me, at one point I didn't care. At one point I just smile at them like, hey, you want to be in my video or something? And it's just, they just look at you, not weirdly, but they just want to know what you're doing. You just have to convince yourself that it's really not that important. It's not going to change anything in your day. So you're not going to change anything in their day. So just continue doing what you're doing.
Hmm.
I guess it also really depends on the necessity, right? So if I know I need this segment and I need this segment outside, I'm just going to need to record it and I need to find a way. On the other hand, if I want to do travel vlogs, for instance, I will not get around the necessity of actually speaking in public to the camera. So I kind of have to live with that. It really is, you kind of know what you are setting yourself up to beforehand.
Mm.
I think there are some things you can do, and I think a lot of YouTubers do this as well. I mean, I've asked YouTubers that have been doing like vlogging style videos for a long time and have a very big channel, and they say it is still awkward. But something you can do is kind of the buddy system, where a lot of YouTubers also have a camera operator, or it's their partner who is in the videos, or it's just their friend that joins them. Like a lot of people have this person with them to kind of ease the tension. And maybe it's just bringing your friend along who's not on camera to just be there to hang out with you for the experience. Because I think that really does make things less stressful. And you kind of have this like friend to rely on, like, look, I'm not a crazy person just filming in the streets. Like, we're doing
There's
this
someone else with
together.
me.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if you want to try it, this is a really good approach to starting it.
Hmm.
I can absolutely confirm it does not get less awkward with time. It's
Yes.
always awkward. But I guess like a tip I can give from myself, or a recommendation, is to not just don't be too self-conscious about it, because most people really don't care. Most people are, I don't want to say self-involved, but they kind of have their lives going on and they might give you a quick look and then move on. Like most people really won't care.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
just go for it.
Hmm. Any other like warm up practices you have, or any other like, I don't know, secret tips or anything?
Me personally, or we all.
It, we're a pretty good group today, so this always goes out to
Mhm.
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, well, me personally is just screwing up for 10 minutes and then finding my flow.
Yeah. I
Same.
mean,
I was going to
you're,
say this too.
yeah, because I think your somewhat recent video where you introduced a van, I think is a really nice example where you like, I thought you totally have your shit together, and it's like, oh, you talking to camera, and then in the outtakes, it's all like the, oh shit, there's a car and there's a person looking, and just like
Yeah.
you showing all of that. So
Yeah,
that was kind of fun.
I mean, that is definitely a reality of it, where you probably will record multiple times and you'll probably cut out a ton of things. Like, I know I also talk for a really long amount of time, and then I will cut it down to just a few segments that I really need, because sometimes it's hard to find the point, especially if you're doing something more improvised, or if you're just talking about your situation, your feelings. I mean, you have to really kind of talk for a while to find your point.
What about you, Florin? Because you also go out quite a bit
Yeah, I was a bit
and
silent
film.
now.
Yeah. No, it's an open
Yeah.
conversation. Like if anybody has a question, just shout it out. I'm just here to like get people together. That's my job. But so you also go outside quite a bit, Florin, right? And film in public, so to speak. How?
Yeah, like not lately though, because I was just trying to avoid public spaces and doing some challenges, because now like the challenges that I'm doing, like I'm trying also to immerse myself into nature, because being all day in front of the screen, I think how it feels.
Yeah.
But actually now I have the last part of a challenge, and everything that I want to do in the future is more towards connecting with other people. And I have a meditation challenge, for instance, for 30 days. And I just want to go in public and have a fitness mat next to me and ask people to join me for meditation. It's also for me really awkward to do that, but it's gonna be an interesting thing to do. But other than that, I think what it works for me, it's just that, for instance, when I speak in front of my camera, I just imagine that it's my best friend. I'm talking to my best friend and I'm calling my camera names, basically.
What's it called though?
Then if I say that one guy is my best friend, then the other guy might get upset. So
Okay.
better not say it in public.
I apologize. I retract that question.
Yeah. I have a question to the whole group. Is there anything you do to like just warm up before you turn on the camera? Is there any like, I don't know, habits or rituals or I don't know. When you do sports, you do some stretching beforehand. Is there anything like that you do before pressing record? Sam, why don't you start?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think I do a little bit unintentionally. I will set up my shot. I will probably record for like a few seconds, and myself talking to the camera, and not even about what I'm going to say, just like a little test, just to kind of shake off a little bit of the tension, I guess, and also get my voice ready for speaking, because I think the first time I say something to camera, it's always like really soft and like a little shy. And so you kind of have to step into this personality a bit of like, you have to see past the lens and see to the audience that you're talking to, and talk to it more as like you're talking with a friend. And so sometimes it helps to just push the record button for a little bit, say a couple things, maybe watch it back, see if you're happy with like your body language. Like, do you feel like you're in the right mood for filming this? Because there has been times where I pushed record and like I was doing like an outro or something for a video, and it just like wasn't working. I was just not in the right mood to actually film it. I was trying to push it so I'd get the edit done. So I said, okay, I'm going to come back to it in a little bit, and it ended up being way better. So a little test is always nice to have before you really jump into your full filming, because when you get talking, you don't want to do it too many times as well. So
Sam, if I may ask, because you mentioned this, and maybe to everyone else as well, do you feel like you have an on-camera personality?
Yes, I do. I think I try as best I can to be like my genuine self. But of course, I think I'm a little bit more energetic, a little bit more maybe friendly and things like this, because my whole channel, I want it to be, when I'm in a good mood, I will make something. I want it to be a happy channel. So I do think it's part of making sure I come off in an engaging way, and that I'm really genuinely speaking to people who may be listening. Maybe it's also a little bit of the film side of me, where I can tell there's a difference if your face and your emotions are attached to your words, that it really explains your statements or your feelings a lot better. So yeah, it is a bit of a challenge though that you don't do it over like too much, because you don't want it to feel like this is someone completely different than yourself. And I don't think I've gotten to a place where it feels like it's different, but it's also like it's definitely a different side of me than people may see normally.
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely not accuse you of that. I mean, you feel extremely natural on camera. That was from the first video I saw. That's what I said. And I also don't think it is inauthentic or disingenuous to add a little bit, because the camera is taking a lot of well, when we would have in a natural conversation away, right? There's no human proximity. There's not as emotional connection as there would normally be, even between two strangers. I guess what I'm really interested in, do you feel like you really have to turn it on, or is it something that you will naturally tap into once you start recording?
I think for some cases it's really natural. Like, for example, like when I was doing some lifestyle change videos where I'm trying something out and it's just kind of like my full review at the end, it's pretty easy for me to just talk about it. And, you know, it didn't take any effort. There are times where I have to set up a video, or if I'm in the middle of like being outside somewhere, I do have to turn it up a little bit, knowing that maybe things aren't going as well and it's a little hectic. And, you know, I still need to get a couple bits for the video. So you do have to kind of jump a little bit to, yeah, the happier personality in some ways. Yeah, I think with some of our travel videos, it wasn't always like the ideal scenario where it was like, you know, we were tired from traveling, like just driving, or we just finished a hike and I have to turn the camera and talk about it. And it was a great experience. So I want to relay that, but I might be exhausted and a little grumpy and a little hungry. But I don't want that to shine through over the content that I want to share. So it depends on the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, that's normal, like to be tired at the end of the hike. So just it's okay to have that part in the videos, because you try to give you try to give your review as realistically as possible, and being tired at the end of the hike, it's just normal. Maybe just don't get too much of it in the video, like you said, so like you won't shine through. But it's okay. I mean, it's as natural as possible.
Yeah, I think it, you know, if things aren't going well, it's okay to share it. I think overall the point is to be just genuine of how you're telling things. I think that is really the key to anything that you're saying. If it's a scripted dialogue even as well, or if it is just you vlogging your experiences and this is coming up, or I'm trying this, it's really just about being true to yourself and the experience. And I think this really is something that shows through over everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It might also really depend on the intention of the video, right? So if you're trying to either portray the landscape or make this a travel guide, it's not really important to understand how you feel. But if this is a lifestyle vlog, it's absolutely fine to say, guys, listen, I'm that tired. I will record this segment tomorrow. Bye.
Yes.
That works. Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, overall, and I think that is a thing that needs to be said, being natural on camera does not mean that you do not need to perform, because you definitely need to.
Yeah.
It is always a performance once you hit record.
Yeah, not talking to a camera is not natural. So no matter how natural you try to be, you don't usually talk to a camera all day long. So you try your best to be as authentic as you can be, but still you're talking to a camera in the streets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I asked if you do any like warm-ups or anything like that, right? What are you doing to prepare yourself? It's only recently that I had a course on like kind of vocal warm-ups, right? Just to get your voice ready to actually speak, because you just turn everything up a little bit, like even if it's just 10%. But this one class was so beneficial to me, just like feel a little bit more comfortable and let everything settle in, and like get me in the right like mental space. So like, okay, now I'm able to record. And so yeah, Any that's why I was like, what else are you doing before you hit the button?
I mean, it sounds stupid, but I'll just talk to myself. When I set everything up, I will start speaking to myself. And because I'm not a native English speaker, I will also start to speak in English. So my brain kind of starts, or the gears in my brain start turning a little bit more into the Anglosphere, if I can put it that way. Otherwise, if I'm traveling, I may not need to do this. But it's also what Sam mentioned, right? If you haven't spoken a word for the day, you need to start speaking to warm
Yeah.
up your vocal cords.
Yeah.
So I try to keep this intuitively. I mean, I've watched your video on the vocal exercises. I would understand if some people say, I do not feel comfortable doing that, even
It
though
feels
I mean,
super
speaking
weird.
to the camera for, yeah, it feels weird. Although speaking to the camera on yourself alone for 30 minutes is not any teeny tiny bit less weird. So you
Yeah.
might as well just go for it.
Yeah. For me, it was really more like I've recorded a couple things in the past, and I'm just like not happy with the way my voice sounds. Right? When you pay attention, your voice sometimes sounds different on one day compared to another day. And so this was just really like, if I do this, I can get to a place where I just feel more comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
really practice. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
the more you do it, the more you get used to it. And I mean, even when I have months of gaps between making vlog style videos, like I can feel the difference. Like I'm not practiced anymore and comfortable with it anymore. So the
Right.
more you do it and the more regularly you do it, then the easier it just becomes and feels more natural each time.
I wonder how it
Regarding
is
the
for you, though. I'm sorry. If you watch back all the videos of yours, because the first video I watched from you was just like, oh my God, she's doing this so naturally. I could not even if I tried. But at the same time, I know that when I watch my old videos back and watch my new videos, I feel way, way better about myself. How's it for you?
Oh, I mean, I feel like I look back and I just kind of cringe a little bit. It's just like there are moments where I'm like, wow, it was actually like pretty natural, and I'm surprised I managed to make this video, even though I knew when I was filming it, I was super awkward feeling. Yeah, I don't know. Me looking back at my older videos, sometimes I'm surprised by like how I don't know, I seem on there. It's good to hear that it still seems natural. That's good. But I guess I see a lot of the process that I went through behind the scenes of like I had to refilm something sometimes, or sometimes I went to a location and I just walked around and I didn't film, and then I had to go back another day to actually do it because it was just so different at first for me to step outside this comfort zone, and especially doing it alone. I was used to working in film teams where you have like a bunch of people around you to support you, and then all of a sudden it was just me with the camera, and I was like, oh, this is different.
Do you feel like there was like, I don't know, like a benchmark or like a certain type of how you would need to speak to the camera, how you would need to behave in front of the camera, like a personality or a YouTuber you wanted to match in a way?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think like definitely some of the channels that I revisited a lot or was like kind of like pulling inspiration from was definitely something I would try out their approach to it. Sometimes it would be like, okay, what if I went out and did all the filming, and then when I was home, I could do all the voiceover and stuff for it. And then I realized like, I'm not sure I really liked that approach because I liked being in the situation and being able to talk to camera. So then I tried to push myself a little bit more to do that. So definitely I would take little like ideas or interpretations of like introducing videos and stuff from different channels and test them out myself basically and see what felt most comfortable for me and also what was best for the video. I think it also changed because my content also changes whatever I feel like doing. So yeah, I think it is playing around with this, but I don't know if there's been a time yet where I'm just like, okay, I got it. I think I'm still playing with it and figuring it out because the content I make also changes with like sometimes it's lifestyle, sometimes it's travel. Sometimes I just want to make a DIY project and it's just a voiceover. So I don't think I figured it out yet in any way.
That's actually a question I had, like, because when you filmed the first video, how hard was it to compare to now? Like, it still feels awkward, right? We established that, but is it overall like quicker or easier or?
I think it can be quicker in the sense I know certain things that I would need for the edit. So this makes it a bit easier for me to just kind of narrow down the things that I have to definitely film out. But I don't know. I'm filming, or like I'm editing a vlog right now, and I filmed way more than I expected. And I'm like, how do I piece this together? Like, this is kind of like a different version of what I've been typically doing before, where I had more of a plan. And this one, there was no plan. So, yeah.
I was also wondering, because you were saying that maybe you're having slightly a change in personality. Do you feel that you're kind of becoming a new person or something like that as a creator in front of the camera? And do you feel that maybe, because I a bit believe that if you a bit fake it, you're gonna make it to that point that you're gonna change a bit your personality. I mean,
I definitely think about it's more about, like, I guess the faking aspect is more about faking the confidence in some ways. And like, the more I do it, okay, the more confident I am. And so I think that that is more thing, other than like saying, okay, I'm like a really loud, energetic person all the time. I don't think this will be me, and it won't be. I think it's obvious in my videos that that is not my personality all the time. Sometimes I'm really excited, but sometimes I'm just enjoying a quiet moment, and that's what I really want to share. So yeah, I think it's just more about being confident in yourself, and that builds up, versus you trying to build a whole new personality. And I think there are some YouTube channels where I see people trying to imitate other channels that are these loud personalities, but I don't see that matching with them as a person. And it's kind of this contrast that you can sense already without needing to watch it for very long, because it doesn't really seem to align with them and them being comfortable with this personality they're trying to take on.
yeah, like I totally resonate with the confidence, and that you kind of, like, at least also in my case, I had to just build it up a bit, and now I'm going in front of the camera and I'm kind of like, okay, I don't have these problems anymore, and I can actually be more confident. But yeah, like I was also like just curious how you see this topic, and how is this influencing your day-to-day life more.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it pulls out different pieces of your personality when you start putting yourself in front of camera, and maybe it'll be surprising which part of your personality comes out. And I think that's also what makes like YouTube interesting, is because it showcases very different personality types and different interests, and that's what makes watching different people interesting, is we want to know more specifics about you as a person, so you don't have to try to be someone else. Yeah.
And how long did it take you to figure out which personality trait to keep?
Oh, I don't know. I think I'm still figuring it out completely.
Pending.
Like, yeah, I mean, of course, with my channel, as I said, I wanted it to be happy, and you know, I wanted it to feel comforting, and you know, just I'm like a regular person, just stepping out of my comfort zone. I mean, essentially, that's it. So I think I always have this in mind when I go through my videos, and when I try to share something. So I think it just naturally pulls out different parts of my personalities, of this like curiosity to try something new, and yeah, this just willingness to share my experiences. Because I think I'm still like a pretty private person, even though for some reason I'm also like, I want to make YouTube videos and share about my life. It's funny in this way, where it just feels like you'll find the natural fit that goes into your videos, and you'll say, yes, I'm comfortable showing this side of my personality more so than maybe another side.
And does it change depending on the topics of each video?
So far for me, it hasn't. But maybe because my videos have a bit of a theme to them. I have done, like, outside of this channel, I have done other like video work where I'm in front of camera, and that's kind of like playing more of a role where I had a script and I went through the script, or I had to be like the influencer for a moment where, look at me, I'm living this crazy life, that's amazing. And that was totally like, okay, this is not the real me. And it was more for like, I understood that I took that job as a in-camera personality and not like, this is me giving you my real life and opinions and things like this. Yeah.
I love that. I think that's one of the coolest parts about YouTube, right? You basically get the chance to be a whole person, like a round personality. And all you said, like about being a happy channel or a happy personality, really reminded me. I just watched, for research purposes, yesterday, Inside Out, the Pixar movie, which is all the story about, joy being the kind of dominating personality trait or emotion, but in the story, she kind of needs sadness to become a round character. And this is also what we all do on camera, right? If we only show off this one personality, like you said, Sam, only being the influencer that lives this amazing lifestyle, that's not a real person.
Yeah, exactly. And I know if I want to get deep, I will watch your channel because, this is where I go,
Exactly.
Let's think about things.
We all do that.
This is where I go to think about things. Okay. I'm going to treat
My
this as
life,
testimony.
my life goals and purposes.
It's a good thing.
Wojtek.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Nice. I've tried a couple times, like doing more vloggy, more spontaneous content, right? But I always end up like just scrapping it because I just don't think it feels natural or authentic. And then what I often do is just like I take some of the footage, but like put voiceover over it, right? Is that I see a lot of head nodding. I'm not the only one who does that.
There's been so many videos I filmed that just never went anywhere. And maybe it was just more of like an incomplete idea. The timing kind of fell through because I didn't finish it in time. And it was like, the topic's kind of over. I have like drives full of footage that I thought would become a video, and it just wasn't there in the end. So
That makes me feel
I
a
think
little
it's
bit
normal.
better.
Yeah.
Do you
I
also
actually
have
took
that?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I actually took, just real quick, I actually took the opposite approach. I literally made of everything I have ever filmed a video, which does not always turn out into something valuable, but I kind of learned to always find a way to make it work somehow, I guess.
Wow. I'm impressed.
I mean, I guess the whole New Zealand series was kind of scrapping together footage, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's hours and hours of footage that not have made it in order to make it work. But yeah, I mean, the way it came out was not the way I intended it to be. So this was also, I mean, you basically mentioned that, right? Where I try to bridge with voiceover and inserts from now, a story of the past that just took me way too long to eventually edit. Yeah.
I was actually trying to make also a point about exactly the same thing that you just said, because at times I was just trying to capture my experience during some challenges, and then in my head everything made sense, how I was telling things and what I was saying there. But then when I put it on my laptop, I was like, what did I say here? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then I still try to make use of the footage somehow.
I guess that is the beauty of voiceover, is that you can use your footage and re-narrate the story. It's definitely a good tool if you come to a place where you have the footage, but maybe what you said on camera at the time doesn't fit anymore.
Right.
I'm wondering, do you guys have like standards you kind of, well, not obliged to, but standards you hold yourself accountable to when you record something? I mean, not like official standards. I mean, there's no compliance department here.
It's hard to measure those things, right? But I recently recorded a video multiple times because I was just unhappy with how I felt recording it, if that makes any sense, right? I was just making a video. I was trying to get to a deadline and just make it because I had the time for it. And I wasn't very happy with the performance, so to speak. But that's more like the emotional state when I was recording. And then I recently picked it back up. There was like a couple weeks in between, and I look at it in a more neutral way, and I'm like, oh, this is actually fine. Like the recording itself is perfectly okay. It was really just me not feeling good in the moment. So I think, yeah, that's, I don't know, that doesn't really answer your question, but I don't know. It's still
No, it
still
does. It does, because I mean that's what I would count as a standard, like
Yeah.
the certainty or knowledge that this is not what you want to get out of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I think it's hard to like quantify or anything, right? One big thing why we're having this conversation is
Quantify,
because,
schmontify.
you know, make it all smart. No, but one big reason we're having this conversation is because I feel like a big part of where I am right now is I'm just trying to become more natural on camera and show my personality, because that's one of the feedbacks I just keep getting in the recorded videos. It's just like, it's good content, but who are you? Like, what is your personality? And so I'm, yeah, trying to bring that forward. And I see that Justin has the same problem. Okay, so that makes me feel better. He's like in chat. Yeah. So I don't know if there's any advice on like the personality game or like anything like that. Much appreciated.
Like, maybe it's a question, it's like, do you feel relaxed while recording? Do you know who you're talking to when you're recording? Because like when I talk to camera, I'm basically like just talking like it's to my friend. And I
Yeah.
think that's a good approach for me because I know when I watch channels, like certain channels, like it feels like they're talking to me like a friend. And I really appreciate that kind of dialogue in this way. And that's also my approach, is just like a friendly conversation. And that's what I want it to feel like.
Yeah, I've
So I
definitely
think
done
that
that.
helps. Yeah.
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 But to the first point, like, no, I don't feel very comfortable or like relaxed.
Yeah.
The first video I recorded, like I remember that, was like my neck was tensing up so bad, and I was just like a brick afterwards and having a headache, and I was like, what the hell am I doing here? It's getting better though. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's like those like actor things that you can do where you kind of like shake yourself off a little bit, do
Yeah.
like the vocal warm up, and
Yeah.
even be goofy like for a minute, like with yourself, and just like say like, okay, whatever, like let's just film it. It might be good, it might be bad, but like let's just try it and let's just play around with it and see.
Maybe I should just do 10 minutes of laughing yoga beforehand.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You can also like record, like let your camera record, not necessarily a video you've been intending to record or something, but just like if you're talking to Sam or you're talking to anyone, or just
Yeah.
by yourself, just record and forget about the camera, just so you can see like how natural you can be in front of the camera. And then when you review the footage later, just to test it out, not necessarily a video you're gonna put on your channel, but just try it out to see how natural you could be if you forgot about the camera. That can help out.
Interesting. I haven't heard that idea before. I like it. Yeah, that's something I can try.
I feel what also might do a lot is because, I mean, we've all spoken about this point. You kind of have a presentation or on-camera personality. Everybody has it, and depending on what topic you present, you don't want to be overly personal. There are people who can pull that off, absolutely, but not everybody does. What might help though is to intercut outtakes. Don't put them at the end, but put them in between so people see that you are actually a real person that, I don't know, has to do a little bit of anger management while recording, or is goofy, or struggles with something, or I don't know, just has a good laugh.
Yeah.
I've
With
seen some
with that,
videos do it, like,
with that,
yeah.
I've seen it done really well, and I've seen it done very poorly. So there's definitely like a fine line.
I mean, I think also people, like, I think, you know, people have a tendency to think that you also have to be perfect or you have to know exactly what you're doing when it
Yeah.
comes to making videos with you on camera. But I mean, there is one channel that we know that is, he was just a guy renovating his house and he just started
Yeah.
making videos about it. I think he
Yeah.
meant this videos to be sharing to like his neighbors and friends. And so him on camera was just so like casual, and like he wasn't really having this personality to talk to an audience, but he was just talking to like oh, his neighbor that might watch this YouTube link later. But his channel went viral because he was just being himself in this way, and he had
Yeah.
really long takes that were just kind of like charming and like an awkward, he really has no idea what he's doing on a camera way.
Yes.
And I think it just made for such good content in an unexpected way, and that's why we like continue to watch his channel. So I feel like you don't have to be having this huge plan going into it, as long as you just
First of all, if anybody's curious, that channel is called Renovation East, and it is just like so charmingly awkward. But the more we talk about this, I think this goes back to your question, Wojtek, about standards. I think I just have like an ideal in my mind of how I want to be on camera, or emulate the people I admire, right? And that kind of creates this barrier between who I actually am and who I'm trying to be. And it's these like kind of unrealistic standards.
That's really interesting. I also had that. I wanted to be Peter McKinnon or Cody Warner, but I'm not. I'm more like on the Danny Gewirtz, Matt Diavella, calm and relaxed side of things. I'm a what's up, everybody. No.
Yeah.
So maybe that is a good point. It's like, are you trying to be too much of something else? And is your standard too high to achieve this already? Because maybe you'll get there one day where you can do like a 10-minute super smooth, no cuts thing. But until then,
yes, that is my gold standard. If I can record 10 minutes straight, just talking concise and like coherently, that would be amazing. That, not sure if we'll ever
You're
get
just
there.
doing enough. So.
Yeah, but this is different. Like, I'm allowed to make mistakes here. Like, there's no retention strategy. There's no, I don't know. I have to form a fully thought out thought here on camera, right? This is just a conversation. But if I'm talking about a book I just read, I need to like put all my thoughts of 300 pages into like 3 sentences, and they have to make a sense. So and right now it's just a lot of takes.
I guess it depends a lot on the content that you're promoting and the style that you have. Because for instance, in my case, when I started, I knew that I'm a total beginner. Like, I never had a camera, I never opened a editing software or something like that. And then when I started, I said, I'm also this kind of guy. I'm just gonna hit my head in the wall and just do it, and I'm gonna make as many mistakes as I can and just learn from it. So I kind of set really low standards. I mean,
but that's kind
that
of an
was my
advantage. If you walk into something knowing that you don't know anything, right? You approach it so differently than me with like, I don't know, I know cameras, I know lights, I can set stuff up, and it's like then you forget about all the basics, kind of. It's like I have my exposure just right, I have the right picture profile, blah blah blah, but then it's just like I'm a brick in front of the camera. So
oh yeah, actually that's a good point, because for me especially, it's like I have these filming standards that I do not uphold at all for my YouTube channel, because the point for me is just to grab my little camera that has the built-in lens. It's not that great quality, but that is the camera that I can just grab and do whatever I want with and not overthink things. Because I do eventually want to step up my quality with sound and with lighting and cameras. But until then, I just have my little grab and go camera. Sometimes I don't even do sound. If I put a lav mic on, maybe I get uncomfortable. So I just have to do what is best for me just to be comfortable. Yeah. And just let those standards kind of slip away of like, it doesn't have to be perfect image. It doesn't even have to be perfect sound sometimes. I can add subtitles in. I've done that before, you know?
You're basically removing as much friction as possible, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I have tried to film with a larger camera, and yes, the quality was better, but I was just uncomfortable, and it was
depends,
so, and I have done the thing where I've just swapped my phone when I'm outside, because it's good enough, and I can just make it look like artsy and in like a little kind of vignetted look for
Makes
the
them-
posts. I know my little tricks, and yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. And I mean, in the end, it's going to be on YouTube. It's not going to be streamed on, I don't know, one of the big streaming platforms or in the cinemas. Which is not to say that you cannot absolutely aim to make high quality content, but high quality content does not always mean high image quality, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Justin just mentioned the channel in the chat that started 3 weeks ago, just filming on their phone, and it's like at 83,000 subscribers. So good quality video does not equate popularity or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
83.
Yeah.
Yeah.
83K. Yeah.
So they must have found a niche somewhere for
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe it's just a bunch of people looking up LA and wanting to live there or something. Who
In
knows?
their cars.
Yeah.
See, the videos, I decided to live in my car in LA.
Hey, that sounds like a pretty good title.
Yeah.
I'd probably click it. Yeah.
That's very straightforward. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Maybe like in my case, like a standard that I set for myself is to have a small change for every single video. I mean, it's just a small change. I mean, every time it's maybe something different, so it's not necessarily considered a standard or something, but the change is a standard. And I think for me that works because at first I went through Matt's course and tried to do editing and do everything and tried to cover storytelling and lights and everything. And then I realized, okay, it's like 4 man's job to to do everything at his standards and or I don't know, years of experiences that he has. And then I said,
really like
maybe.
I really like what you are saying. Basically, you, instead of approaching this whole thing from the mindset of I want to be a YouTuber, you're having a mindset of I want to become a YouTuber. And through that, you allow yourself to work your way upwards instead of saying, okay, when I film today, it has to be perfect. But rather, if I'm still not perfect, well, perfect is very subjective, but if I'm still not doing good in 10 years, I guess something's going wrong. But through saying, I want to go all this way, you're really allowing yourself to work your way through this.
Don't get me wrong, I also set some like goals for myself, and
yeah, absolutely.
I want like I taken commitment for the next 2-3 years to do this. So for me it's kind of a long process that I have to follow. And then I said, okay, I'm not in a big hurry, and the last 2 weeks I almost felt that I'm getting into a burnout, and then I said, okay, like I need to calm down and
Take
rethink
a step back
things.
and
Yes, exactly.
Happened to me.
And like I'm adapting as I go.
Yeah, actually, this could be a good topic for another chat, is burnout, because I think it's probably something we all face as well.
God, yes.
as creators, especially when, I mean, the thing is, like, we're most of the time putting ourselves in front of it, so we also have to be, able to stay in the video long enough to be in front and then do the editing and come up with the next idea. I think it's it's not always easy to be everything all at once in these kind of videos.
But I think it would be also cool to form a kind of a circle to discuss our struggles and stuff like that, to have a supportive group on these kind of things. Because I don't know, like I find like I'm a highly sociable person and I love people, but now this is the loneliest process that I ever had.
It is a lonely
You
game.
need people
It
who
is.
share
It is.
the same people who share the same struggle as you, so like you can communicate and
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I'm really trying to work against, right? Just getting people together and like having somewhat regular meetups. And I mean, you all know how helpful this is, just having this like interaction. And like I was sitting with Roland yesterday. He showed us like the beginning of his next video, couple minutes, and together we just, I think, made it a lot better than where it is right now, and having this feedback and yeah, learning from each other, like, oh, how do you approach like going outside and stuff? Yeah, of course, really good. Yes.
Yeah.
But so wait, towards the end, because Rania, you just wrote up quite a nice post on the Slow Growth forum about like vlogging and what makes a good vlog, right? It seems like you have put
Yeah.
some thought into that. So I'm just curious about your perspective on this whole like filming yourself in public, and I don't know, you have a regular job. Do you share anything of what you're doing with your coworkers or anything like that? Like, I know it's a big question, but start wherever you feel most comfortable.
Share what I do on YouTube with my coworkers? That's the question?
Well, the question is more general, like how do you approach filming yourself and making your vlogs? But then I'm also curious, like how public, I guess, are you with the stuff you're
I
putting online?
I totally separate like vlogging from working,
Yeah,
especially that it's
Yeah.
like they have nothing in common. And I'm not vlogging like going to work. Like there's people who work at Google, a
right.
day in the life of a Google employee or anything. But I try to separate it as much as possible, just because I need a break from that. So vlogging, editing, and everything is kind of a break from working.
Mm-hmm.
And being being public about it, I don't mind. I don't have any. I mean, if they look me up, they find me. So some of them know, some of them are subscribed, and yeah, when the video is out, they give me their feedback, which is nice because every feedback is a good, it's positive feedback, and yeah, it's fun.
You make it sound so easy.
It's not. It's not, but it's fun. The fun of it is the challenge.
Mm.
The challenge of doing it all is what's fun. But like Florence said, it's just avoid burnout as much as
Yeah.
possible.
So do you actually see it more as a hobby kind of, or what is putting your videos out?
Well, I try to prioritize it as much as possible, but there's also other priorities in my life right now, which are like kind of life defining, and that's why I took a break from it. But found an accountability buddy, Snehal, and you
Oh,
know
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he also has a day job and he also struggles with YouTube and stuff. So we set up a joint calendar and
Okay.
he checks, and we try to talk every day to see how much what we did, what creative thing we did that day, and we have to check it and kind of input in the joint calendar, and we set out each other a deadline for each other, and we still haven't found what the punishment would be. So the deadline is tomorrow. By the way, we have to both post a video. And it's been helpful. We did it for the past couple of weeks, and honestly, I've worked on YouTube more than the past couple of months.
Nice.
Just because we've been trying to hold each other accountable every day.
Nice.
We also discuss
That's
ideas
really great.
like thumbnails. He gives me his feedback, I give him mine, because you might see things, but I'll see it from a different angle. Each one would give you their opinion and feedback, which is amazing. And you motivate each other because we're kind of in the same day job, work, things, and then you only have the weekend to rest, but also edit and film. So it's been helpful.
So, first of all, this is super cool. Second of all, I'm running an event on September 9th, right? That's all about learning. And I'd be curious if you and Snehal would do like a little, I don't know, summary of the experience or something. Because I think,
Sure, I'd love to.
yeah, I think that would be really good for people to hear, like, how do you actually build accountability with somebody that works, right? Because so many people set out to do it, but it just like falls apart. So, yeah. I'm gonna write you down for
I tried
that.
to do it with many people before. I mean, not many. Like you and I tried to do it with Nick and another guy from Czech.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
We had like 2 or 3 calls. Yeah, and I met some other people as well, but we weren't in the same situation, so it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But now we're kind of exactly in the same situation, and it was even like we had like 8 hours time difference, but it's really cool.
Nice. Awesome.
You found a match. That's so great to hear.
Yeah.
So before we wrap things up, any more thoughts from anybody about being on camera, being better on camera? Any tips, thoughts, comments?
I just would like to summarize my personal takeaway, which I think is really lovely. So in order to be real on camera, you gotta have realistic standards. This is what I took away.
I like it.
That's a nice
And
one.
find the tricks that make you feel comfortable. Do the buddy system, practice, even if you're just recording it for yourself and not actually making a video. Use the gear that you're comfortable with. With like the standard thing, don't try to do more that is too much for you right now. And see what other content you like and why you like it and the personalities that you like, and you don't need to imitate them, but just it might be interesting to just take a look at like why those people are interesting to you and what makes you feel connected to them and their videos, and just have fun. Like don't
Try it,
stress.
yeah.
have
Just have
as
fun.
much fun as you can, even when you're in like maybe a really bad moment where you're sharing some negative things. It's weird to say have fun with it, but it's also like just in the sense of like you're sharing a bad moment, but you're being genuine about it. You don't have to feel like you have to be a personality in this moment. Just be real.
Nice. I think that's a perfect way to end this. If anybody's watching, there's links down in the description to sign up to the newsletter so you know when these events are happening and when the big event on September 9th is happening, all the details. And we'll probably have another live chat next Friday. Cool. And that's pretty much it. We can hang out a little bit more if you want in just here on Toucan, but I'm going to end the stream. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.